Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the broadcast. Sadly, this is our final broadcast for season 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, that means it's the final round, and ladies and gentlemen, that it's going to be a good race tonight. So, we are here with the GTC-4 division, round 10. This is it. It's all on the line here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's no more mistakes. There's no more second chances. There's no more. Oh, I got one more race. This is it. The drivers have to do what they got to do tonight in order to secure those positions and try to advance themselves to the All-Star race. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about that a little more. I see ears perking. So chat is hopping right now. Welcome everybody. Good evening and good afternoon and good morning, depending where it is you're watching from. Happy Monday or happy Tuesday. So we got Formula One, we got Dubs up in chat, we got Oklahoma Gaming coming up in chat, we've got Chris Reeves, we got Drew, we got Joe, everybody up in chat getting ready for this fantastic race. Much love, everybody, and welcome. Tonight is going to be a fight, says Chris Reeves. We got, hey guys, hope all is well. And we've got watching from work, watching from home, cheers, brother. Watching from good old Germany, much love from Germany. We'd love to see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, but that's enough of that for one moment. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Tim Gray, or Ghost Terror 45, or Ghost 45 now, since we've recently changed our name. And the series is presented by RWB Racing, and our major sponsor here, ladies and gentlemen, all season long has been Detailing Group. And of course, other proud sponsors of the event are Metropolis, High Pre Graphics, and Pride of the Dragon, which is an event that Tatiana, one of our broadcasters here, puts on. So glad to have her on board here at GT Champions. So, season 3, round 10, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we? Well, we're at Le Mans. We're at Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe, ladies and gentlemen. So, a great way to finish out our race. So, let's swap over to our beautiful layout here. And as you can see, we have that beautiful cameraman just hanging out on track there, waiting to show off all these final round cars for the final time this season. Sad, isn't it? I know, the cameraman likes his job here. So, as you can see, it's very gray out there today. So, maybe rain, maybe not, who knows? But definitely going to affect track temperature, and quite a few fans in the stands here today as well, here for the broadcast for the race. So it should be a really good time. But we're just going to go through some of the details here, ladies and gentlemen, before we do our walkthrough. So our cameraman is just going to, hang out, stare at the cars for a while. So we are at Circuit de la Sarthe, or Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen, all the way in France. Absolutely iconic racetrack. Super long racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. These are very, very long lap times here. And this is a Group 3 race here today. So the guys are going to be driving the GT3 RS01 Renault. So mid-rear engine car. It is a bit of a handful to drive, and it's going to be an interesting race. Egon up in chat saying good luck to all the drivers as well. We got Racing Soft and Racing Medium tires required for this series, as always, ladies and gentlemen. So the drivers will have to use one of each compound within the race. Now, they are not just allowed to kind of pit whenever they feel like it and change into that tire and take their fuel. There is a pit window, and that pit window is from the 40 minutes into the race to the 50 minutes into the race point. So there is a 10-minute window that covers just before the halfway point and just after the halfway point of the race, where the drivers are allowed to come into pit lane and change to the opposite compound of tire that they started their race on, and then they're allowed to take on their fuel for the last half of the race. If they're caught taking fuel or tires outside of the pit window, they will be assessed a 1-minute penalty per infraction. So the drivers definitely don't want to do that. So they're going to want to make sure they're managing their tires and their fuel throughout the race as well, to make sure that they don't have to be forced to do that, as a 1-minute penalty is very significant and can definitely cost you some positions on the racetrack. And of course, it is 1 times tire wear and times 2 fuel consumption, ladies and gentlemen, as it is a GT3 race. But the drivers are allowed to pit outside the pit window to repair their cars. So if they pick up damage along the way during a race, they get into an incident with another driver, they get some damage from that, they are allowed to pit outside the window, and they are allowed to repair the cars only. So they can come in, as long as they don't take any tire and they don't take any fuels, and they let their crews work their beautiful magic and fix that car up and get them back out on track. They're good to go. There's no extra penalty for that. So just a little bit about some of the main details about the race and our starting grid. My favorite part about this, and unfortunately the last time we're going to do that this season, but the end of a season means the dawn of a new season in the future, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, make sure that you are subscribed and followed to the GT Champions socials, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. And that way there you will never miss any of the action, any of the details when a new season is beginning, any special events that GT Champions might be putting on or partaking in. And that's just one of the best ways to stay informed, ladies and gentlemen. And of course you can find them on Discord as well. The Discord link will be up shortly during the broadcast. I'll make sure to point you guys in the right direction for that. So in our starting lineup here, pole position was supposed to be Icer Energia, but didn't make a race time here, so not on the grid. So that moves, and then second was supposed to be Jet, who opted out of the race last minute as well. So that actually puts BA Dubs in pole position for our race here today. So we're just going to take a little walk around this car here, showing some love to some Cancer there, to some GT45 Gaming, of course, all that beautiful DG, Deckel's GT Champion stickers on here, and of course, Freedom Isn't Free supporting our veterans as well. So great stuff there by Dubs. And then moving down the field, we have Average Viper, who now moves into P2. And of course, driving for Team Hypre here. So just taking a nice little walk around the car here. Team Hypre in that classic orange and blue, what is it, Golf livery, I believe it is. So great shout out there from Viper. Looking snazzy. So Viper currently sitting second overall coming into round 10 here as well. So of course being in a good starting position for the race. And then to follow up Viper is Devin Calypso, who will be taking third on the grid. And he brought out a nice shiny car for us here in round 10. Beautiful, gorgeous offset blue and black livery here. And of course with that beautiful flag there on the side of the car. And just looking fantastic. So great job by the drivers with the liveries as always here, ladies and gentlemen. And then moving down the grid into fourth place here, we have Bunk Nasty. New driver, started the series last round. So this is his second race. So I know he was excited. So to see what he's got for us here today. And he's just got a nice, simple, classic livery here. He's showing a little bit of love around the car there to a few different places and a few different people. Shout out to Pride of the Dragon. We see Metropolis and, of course, Hypre detailing group on that car. And then we've got Walk Motorsports here next. Classic Walk Motorsports livery, always looking good. Always know when Walk is on track when he comes rolling onto the racetrack with that beautiful livery of his. And then we've got Formula One starting just behind him here. And Formula One recently joining Apex Racing. So sporting out some team love here with that gorgeous Apex Racing livery there as well. Looking pretty sharp there. So, nice beautiful flag on the side of that wing there. Great stuff here by all the drivers. Livery's looking fantastic as always. And moving down the grid, our current leader, ladies and gentlemen, RWB Spider. And of course that classic Spider on the front of his car there. And he brought out a nice shiny red car for us here today too. So looking fantastic again. Look at all those sponsors on the side of the car. We see 12 Ounce Sports there as well. Shout out to RWB, of course, the team that he's now officially currently representing here as well. And then moving next down the field here is OGR Toolshed, who's just sitting behind Ghost in fourth place. So he's looking for a good race here to try and snatch up a podium position here going out of the final round of the season here as well. So see all the sponsors there on this car. Nice classic simple livery here as well. Pride of the Dragon, that looks amazing where the placement of this. Great stuff by the drivers. Love the liveries. And then we got starting behind him is Ghost 45, who won last week's race. So he's in the back of the pack with the fastest lap. And he's sporting that classic Rockefeller Racing livery. Looking really great. It looks great this week. And hoping to repeat what he did last week with another race win here, as he's just currently holding third place down, trying to keep Toolshed off him here, and trying to chase Viper down for second place overall as well. And then we have right in the back of the field here is Picteca, and just a beautiful Martini-style Hypre delivery here on this car, and looking fantastic. Hypre Racing on the side. So again, this is the man behind all these amazing graphics you guys see here on stream, but we are going to get yelled at by our track officials. So let's get our camera guy off the track. Let's get this race started, shall we? All right, so we can see all the cars lined up. We see our cameraman is ready to go. Are you guys ready? I know I'm ready. Let's do this. We got Jake up in chat here as well. We got Chris saying, let's go Juan and Dubs. Work 'em silly, boys. Love to see that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we have word from the officials that the race is going to start here shortly. So just, they're going to turn the lights on here. We're going to switch you over to our beautiful screens, and let's get this thing going. All right, round 10, Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen, with GT3 Renault RS01s, 10 drivers on the field, huge implications in the standings. We'll go over that here a little bit, and let's get this going. Let's get this going. Ooh, long lights tonight, chat. Long lights, long lights. We're waiting, we're waiting. The drivers are waiting. We hear the engines. And the drivers are off. Dub's getting off to a really good start there. We see Walk moving up in the midfield there as well. So early on, though, it is going to be Viper taking the lead here. So Viper is going to get the lead coming into corner one, coming into this little fun little technical sector right at the beginning of Le Mans here. Ooh, Viper going wide. We see Bunk going wide. Dubs goes wide. Walk's coming through. Oh boy, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. Looking like all the drivers actually made that through. All right, so we had 3 cars in the front of the pack. Get a little bit loose right into the corner. They're coming off track. Maybe not accounting for cold tires, ladies and gentlemen. And a few drivers moving through, but it looks like all the cars got through safely here. We got Viper in first. We have Walk in second. We've got Formula One up to P3. We've got Bunk Nasty in fourth. We've got Devin in fifth. We've got Toolshed right behind him in sixth, with Spider right behind Toolshed. And then we've got, pardon me, we've got Dubs right here with Ghost 45 just behind him, and our boy Picteca right in the back of the field. So let's get back up to the front. Let's get you guys some racing information, shall we? There we go. That's what everybody wants to see. So we do have Juan going side by side with Viper here. We see Bunk. Oh, Bunk coming too hot. He decides to opt out into the runoff there. We see Toolshed going into the runoff as well. So a couple of drivers maybe just overspeed from drafting, just missing their braking points. Looking like everybody got through okay. Back of the pack is a little bit separated there. We have Formula One now in the lead of the race, ladies and gentlemen, but carrying a penalty here, coming up the Mulsanne straight, coming into our second chicane here. So let's see if he's able to hold Viper off here well with that penalty. But again, long racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. These drivers are going to be doing roughly around 4.25 minute laps here today on track. So lots of time to try and find a spot to burn that penalty here on Le Mans. As you see, Viper is tucked into that slipstream here now. Bump drafting is going to be a pretty vital part of this race here today. Drivers are going to get caught out all by themselves. Might find it very, very hard to keep up with the drivers in front or the drivers behind. So it'll be interesting to see if we see these GTC-4 drivers doing a little bit of working together. We see Bunk and Walk coming into the corner. Walk burning off a penalty there. So could have been contact, but because of the penalty, the way it works there, of course, the car goes it. So no incident there, fortunately. But Bunk now moving up into P3, so looking very strong for his second race. We got Spider looking to make a move here on Devin now as well. So let's just stick with this here real quick, as we've got Spider, our current points leader here, ladies and gentlemen, right up in the back with Devin Calypso. So is Spider going to work with Devin here to catch the front pack, or is he going to make a move? No, he decides to go inside here, so he's going to make a move coming up to the I hate calling this a straightaway because it's not really a straightaway, but it's just this massive long run at high speed with these cars. These guys are going to reach about 160 to 170 miles per hour on these real long straights here today in these cars. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys handle this. As we see Toolshed coming in on the inside. These guys are going to go through here 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen. Toolshed on the inside. He's going to get around both, so Toolshed gets a twofer. He makes up 2 positions there, ladies and gentlemen. He moves himself up into P5. Devin moving down to P6, Spider down to P7. We see Ghost now in behind this group as well, and Picteca right on the very back end of this. So Picteca just a little bit behind the group here at the moment, but maybe just playing it safe, maybe thinking about fuel early on. It's hard to say, ladies and gentlemen. So we do have Average Viper and Formula One still very, very close together, nose and tail essentially here as we're coming through the final sector, the Porsche curves here at Le Mans. Which is going to take us to a couple of nasty... Oh, we see Viper going really, really wide there. He's most certainly going to probably get a penalty for that. So we see Juan's going to get the move done here right before we come into this first chicane. And Viper's just going to opt to burn that penalty off right now, so get rid of that. Of course, these drivers are not supposed to start pass the start-finish line with these penalties, so they do need to burn the penalties off before they get across there, which is just coming up here now. We see Formula One, who is currently our race leader after lap 1, coming across the start-finish line there just a second ago. Viper just coming across it there. We see Toolshed just crossing it in 3rd place, so Toolshed is flying right now, making up a massive amount of ground from the back of the field very early on in the race. And then we see Dubs now making a move on Bunk here as well. So Dubs is on the inside, should be able to get this done, but if Bunk can stay beside him, no, Bunk does just, looks like he just gave up the position there, didn't want to fight through the curves here. So a good call by all the drivers, playing it safe after the first couple corners on the lap, and a couple of tense moments. The drivers are starting to settle into the race. We got Devin with RWB Spider right behind him here now. Potential battle for P6 at the moment. We got Ghost 45 in 8th place here, starting to slowly move his way up the field. We've got Picteca now up in 9th place and walked down into P10 here. So must have had a mistake or maybe a little spin or an incident on track. They're dropping to the back of the field. But Viper now in the lead of this race and trying to now pull a gap on the rest of the pack ahead of him here. So Viper knowing what needs to be done here. And we got Cardi up in the house as well. We got Nolander Gaming up in the house as well. So many people. Stangman up in the house. Nice move, Toolshed. Do you know that RR Ghost? No, we're not sure. He's just this really cool dude racing on track with a really cool looking livery, you know. We got Toolshed here now up in P2, so he's moved up ahead of Formula One. So Toolshed is on the move. Formula One sitting in 3rd place. Now Formula One has got a couple podiums here this season, but he's really could have been on the podium a lot more this season. So he's in a good spot so far early on in this race. We got Bunk doing very well early on in the race here as well. Again, new driver to the series. Only his 2nd race here this season with GT Champions. So sitting in P4 currently. And we got a battle here, a 4-way battle developing here. So let's get with this. We got Dubs on the inside of Spider. We got Ghost behind Spider. And we got Devin just behind this whole group. So Spider and Ghost opting to go inside of Dubs. Ooh, Dubs gets slippery and comes right back across the track. Ghost backs off, lets Dubs get back in safely. So now Ghost is on the back of Dubs here. So Spider getting ahead of Dubs there for P5. Ghost now on the back end of Dubs here. And Devin just coming up in behind Ghost here. So the drivers at the moment not opting to work together. These guys are just battling. They're like, no, we're not working together. No, we're in a battle here, folks. So we see Dubs just cutting that apex a little bit. He's going to try and get rid of that penalty coming in around the corner. So he's going to take it real shallow. Ghost and Devin are going to get around Dubs there as he burns that penalty off. So they do get that position off Dubs. So now Dubs, unfortunately, dropping back into 8th place here. And penalties, ladies and gentlemen, penalties are absolutely going to factor into these drivers here today. LeMans is not friendly when it comes to penalties on track here. So penalties could play a very large part of the race here today as we see Viper coming into this fun little sector here as he comes into a kind of a hard braking but high speed corner, and then comes into a real good high braking zone into kind of a really tight 90-degree corner, and then bam, up a massive straightaway. So lots of high speed on LeMans. There's a lot of time here on LeMans, so it'd be interesting to see what these drivers are doing as they start coming on their hot lap, essentially the first flying lap here, to see what kind of times these drivers are putting down. As Viper's looking very solid here in 1st place. Toolshed trying to chase him down in P2, pardon me. Formula One up in P3 here, now trying to chase those two down, but we do see Spider is now moved up into P4 as well. So Spider's on the hunt here now. We see Ghost up into P5. Ghost 45 is on the hunt. So we see all our top 5 drivers are fighting for those top 5 positions in the standings in the top 5 again very early on in the race. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this race develops here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to break the points down for you, and we're going to show you guys what the implications of this really is. As soon as the race settles down a little bit here. So we have Devin Calypso now being pressured by Dubs here. So let's stick with this little battle here. Let's Dubs just took a look inside. Let's jump on board with Dubs here as he's trying to get around Calypso here, coming into the second last chicane of the track. Ooh, Dubs getting a little bit squirrely there. Really great job to keep it together there. Just catching a little bit too much apex and early on the throttle, and just car got sideways. So he is going to lose a little bit of time on Devin there. So really unfortunate for Dubs there, as he was really right on top of Calypso there. So let's just get through our field. We have Picteca now. Bunk down to 8th here, so we're not sure what happened there, as we missed what happened to Bunk Nasty there. And then we got Picteca in P9, and Walk coming into the pits here, actually. So we're just going to keep our eye on this pit, of course, to make sure that the driver's only stopping for repair here on track. I can definitely say that he has damage, ladies and gentlemen. I know you can't see it because we've got our beautiful banner here provided by High-Pre Graphics. And if you look up in the top right part of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you can contact High-Pre Graphics and Design if you need any kind of graphic designing needs, anything like that. He's definitely your man. Pro stuff that this guy puts out. Love working with these graphics. They're absolutely fun to work with, and they just look so great, don't they, ladies and gentlemen? So we do see Walk just taking on a repair there. He did not take any tires, he didn't take any fuel, and he kept it within those lines. Love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. So we got Viper and Toolshed here. Toolshed looks like he's starting to gain on Viper a little bit, so Viper putting down what looks like to be a 4:08 there. Toolshed putting down fastest lap on track in lap 2 with a 4:06. So Toolshed is the fastest driver currently on track at the moment, and you can see it actually as, let's jump on board with Toolshed here. Oh, as he's making the move on Viper right as we jump in, he gets in that slipstream and just says, see ya later, buddy, I'm out. So gets the move done on Viper there, but now is Viper going to respond back? Because, I mean, Viper's right there. He's in the slipstream, so it's all going to come on corner exit here. Is Viper going to stay close enough to Toolshed here to get into the slipstream and fight back for the position that he just lost there? So big move for P1 there as Toolshed's now moved up into P1. And it's super significant here, ladies and gentlemen, very early on in the race for Toolshed and Viper holding P1 and P2 currently. And I'm going to explain to you why as soon as these guys, you know, like I said, you know, just settle into the race here, start running their paces. But we got battle going on here, so we're not going to leave this battle. Great shot here on board with this Renault here with Average Viper here as he's trying to chase Toolshed back down to get P1 down here. So we got a race, ladies and gentlemen. We absolutely have a race on our hands here today. So P1 and P2 are within half a second apart from each other. Now P3 is Formula 1, and we see RWB Spider is now gained on Formula 1 here. So Formula 1 having a little bit of a slow lap there, and Spider is all up on Formula 1. So let's see if Spider is going to opt. No, Spider is going to opt to pass Formula 1 here as you see him cutting a little bit of curb there. Juan was just going to, you know, pinching him a little low, so he had to take a little extra curb there. Ooh! And a little tap there from Juan coming into the corner there. So Spider does get the move done. A little bit of argy-bargy from the two drivers there, but both drivers getting through safe. Nobody losing any time. We see Ghost now just off in the background of this battle here as well. So thankful to see some battling happening. They're giving him a chance to try and catch up to those two drivers a little bit because you just don't want to be alone here at Le Mans. You want to have a buddy. And we see Devin Calypso here now in 6th place, and Bunk Nasty just behind there in 7th place. And then now we have Picteca up in 8th place, and Dubs down into 9th, and of course Walk here in 10th place, struggling a little bit here early on at Le Mans. But again, our race leader, Toolshed, as he's coming around through the porch curves here now, just absolutely cruising along here early on in the race. So the points, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a graphic to show you, but I'm totally going to break this down for you. RWB Spider is announced at the end of last race, ladies and gentlemen, round 9, actually secured the GTC-4 championship title. So RWB Spider is our champion for GTC-4 coming into round 10 here, but still battling for overall points total in all divisions here today as well. So, I mean, Spider is still driving for something here. So, he has P1 locked down, so Spider's implication here in the race is, again, just to continue to build on his points total and to try and just see what he can do to jumble up the standings himself here in the race as well today. And then we have Toolshed, who's currently leading the race. So you get 18 points for a race win here, ladies and gentlemen. Then it goes 16 points for second, 14 points for third, 12 points for fourth, and then it goes 11 points for fifth, all the way down to 1 point to 15th. So currently Toolshed is sitting in first place, and he's chasing Ghost 45, who's currently sitting in third place just ahead of him. And Ghost 45 has an 8-point advantage over OGR Toolshed coming into round 10 here. So currently, the way the race sits right now, ladies and gentlemen, with Toolshed sitting in first place, Ghost sitting in 5th place, Toolshed has a 7-point advantage over Ghost 45, and Toolshed is also currently holding the fastest lap on track, beating his last fastest lap, just currently there with a 4:05.239. Gets a bonus point for that. So at the moment, these two drivers are tied for points, and currently, as the race sits right now, tied for 3rd place overall in the division. So Viper is currently sitting 2nd overall in the division, sitting 4 points ahead of Ghost 45. So Ghost 45 actually needs to finish ahead of Average Viper in order to overtake Average Viper for second place. It actually needs to finish by at least 2 podium positions in order to just tie Average Viper. So that's how close that the battle between P2 to P4 is. Now, with that being said, Formula One's only about 10 points off of this battle with Toolshed as well. So P1 through P5 is extremely close, and anything can happen here. This is Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen. One of these drivers can make a mistake. They can get damaged. They can have to pit, have to fix their car, go to the back of the pack. So much is going to happen here. So we're going to try and help you guys keep track of that as the race progresses here. We have Bunk here in 6th place, of course, new to the series, so his points in the series isn't of any implication for him. He's here just gaining that experience, getting ready for the upcoming Season 4, whenever that may be. And then we have Pikteka here, who's currently sitting 10th overall in the standings as well, so he's in a good spot here currently right now. Dubs is just behind Pikteka, I believe, in the standings, just chasing him. And then Devin Calypso is just behind Formula One in the standings and in the mix with Stangman. Now, Stangman's not in the race, so he's going to get 0 points for the race. So Stangman's definitely going to drop a position or two, potentially, depending on where Devin Calypso here finishes in the race. And, of course, same thing with Walk, who I believe is sitting 9th overall in the standings. So, massive, massive implications here in this race. This is not determined here in GTC-4 at all. And currently, the way the race is sitting right now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive shakeup potentially to happen here in the standings. So, very early on, we're only 15 and a half minutes into the race, ladies and gentlemen. But we have a race here for sure. And as you can see, these drivers know what their assignments are. So, Toolshed is exactly where Toolshed needs to be currently in this race. He needs to win. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. He needs a win, and he needs that fastest lap. And he needs a little bit of help from the drivers behind now with Viper, Spider, and Formula One to keep Ghost 45 no further than where he is now. If he could do that, then it could come down to a tie. And if it comes down to a tie for that 3rd place overall, it's going to come down to season overall performance. So I'm not 100% sure how that's determined, so I guess we'll have to see how the race ends to see if that is going to play into factor or not, ladies and gentlemen. There is a tiebreaker scenario potentially involved in the series, or there's potentially a couple of tiebreaker scenarios involved, depending how this race ends here tonight. So massive, massive implications. So let's jump on board currently with our race leader Toolshed, as he is just coming through these final chicanes. So it's actually a really good time to jump and do it on board with our current race leader, who is Toolshed. So coming across that start-finish line here right now, and just a little bit slower than his last lap, but not by much, so he is flying. So we're going to give you this onboard lap. I'm going to shut my audio off, let you guys enjoy this 4-minute long lap on Le Mans here with race leader Toolshed, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so great lap by our current race leader, Toolshed here at Le Mans. So let's get back to our field here. Let's see how everybody's doing back behind our current race leader right now. So we have Average Viper here, still holding down P2, looking really solid. We have RWB Spider now up into P3 here, so he's gotten around Formula 1. We have Formula 1 coming a little bit sideways around corner 1 there, as he's trying to chase RWB Spider back down to try and get back on that podium. We just see behind Formula 1, Ghost 45 now, looking like he's trying to close up as well. And we have Bunk Nasty in 6th. We've got Dubs. Sorry, Bunk. Let's give you that camera shot. There's a great camera shot coming down the start-finish line there. We got Dubs coming down here as well. And just behind Dubs there, you can see Picteca. So Picteca is starting to close that gap up on Dubs as well, as we see Picteca going through. And then we've got Devin. Not sure what happened to Devin there. He's back in the 9th place here now. But he's coming across that start-finish line here now as well. And we'll try to give him that beautiful camera shot here as well. Great shot there by the cameraman on track. And then we got Walk struggling a little bit, getting a little bit sideways there through the Porsche curves. Ooh! Just keeps it together there. So great job by Walks to keep it out of the wall there, getting into that dirt on the edge of the racetrack there, and that's just asking for disaster. We got Snipe Ghost up going, hey everybody, how's it going? We got Nolander, welcome everybody, thank you so much for showing the love. We got Stangman with a good funny comment in chat here going Ghostbuster, Spider Team, Average Viper, and Toolshed. Absolutely, brother. It seems to be that way currently here on the racetrack today. I took the little wheels off my car for this round and switched to manual transmission after doing all the season. No way, hey? Right on. We love to hear that, Pick. We love to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, brother. Absolutely love to hear that, brother. So we do have Toolshed, and he is flying. Like, he is showing some great pace here. He's in 406s, 405s, 407s. We got Viper behind him. He's just a little bit off that pace. He's in the 407s, 408s. And then we got Spider Team, who's currently sitting on the fastest lap on track now with a 404.9, ladies and gentlemen. So Spider Team now is currently holding fastest lap on track, taking that extra point away from Toolshed at the moment as it sits on the track currently in the race. Very vital point that Toolshed absolutely needs. So Spider Team, again, you know, being a little bit of a spoiler here currently on the racetrack as we see him making a move here on Spider. So Spider Team opting to get around Viper here quickly and start chasing down that race leader. So Spider Team getting that move done quite efficiently, but is Viper going to respond with a move of his own here? So let's jump on our roof cam here for this and see if Viper is going to be able to make his way back around Spider here coming up the next straightaway. Ooh, he gets a really good run on Spider there. Not quite a touch, very close to a touch there as you see him just tuck right in behind Spider. And maybe they're going to work together a little bit here. We do see Viper just tuck in behind Spider. He's just giving him a little bump. So again, very long, fast sector. A couple little kinks in the road. That's about it here. And then we come into a little bit of a, not really a braking point. This isn't really a braking point. It's more of a turn in, let off throttle kind of thing. But we see Viper opting to go a little wide to get the run to get back on Spider there. So great job by Viper driving behind Spider here. So Viper not opting to force the issue here, but maybe try to work together with Spider to catch up to our first place driver, Toolshed. Spider got a really good run through the Porsche curves there. Spider losing a little bit of time on him there, unfortunately. So he's just got a little bit of work to do to get caught back up. We have Formula 1 here up in P4 now still. He's trying to get caught back up to these guys. We see him just coming through that chicane. We just seen Viper and Spider come through there. And Ghost is not too far behind, but he's got that nice big fat 1 second penalty. So we're going to see him bleed that sucker off. And on his way. So not a bad spot to bleed a penalty there if you have to. As obviously it's a slower sector of the racetrack, but ideally you don't want to have a penalty ever. So back on the way they go, and I continue on the race. So Calypso's here in 9th, and Motorsports is now cruising along here back in P10, but all the drivers are still on track and looking just Jim Dandy fine, having some great races here tonight. So Toolshed is now starting to pull away from the field here a little bit, just trying to get as big a gap as he can before that pit window opens here. In approximately about 15 minutes, that window will be open and available for the drivers to pit if they choose. Of course, they have till the end of the window to be out of pit lane and have completed their stops. Good move, Picteca. Good love, oh, good love, good love. So we do see our leader with a half-second penalty here, so that should allow RWB Spider, who's currently sitting in second place, a little bit of gain a little bit of time on Toolshed here, is what I was trying to say there, as I could not find the words apparently. So Viper here now with a half-second penalty as well. So again, I did say it earlier in the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, that the implications could be pretty good here, depending on how many penalties these drivers pick up. So we see Formula One here. We now see Ghost 45 getting closer and closer into the picture on Formula One here. So Formula One can just see some headlights off in the distance there in that rearview mirror. So Ghost 45 trying to catch Formula One, and Formula One being like, yeah, I don't really want to give you that slipstream, my guy. So I'm just going to try and catch Viper up here ahead of me, and see you later. And then we got Bunk here in 6th place. He's a little bit further back off that group. As you can see, they're just going at the end of the straight here, and he's just gotten into the second part of the Mulsanne straight here. So we got Picteca here now chasing Bunk Nasty down. So Picteca's looking good here today as well. We got Dubs here trying to chase Picteca back down. We got Devin trying to chase Dubs down, and Walk Motorsports trying to chase Devin down. Your first track limits penalty for the season, says Drew, says Toolshed. Oh, that's rough. So we will drop this beautiful banner here that's done by High Pre Graphics in about 8 minutes or so, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the tire and fuel situation from the drivers. The one thing I will tell you is they all started on the same tire this week. So all the drivers on the track are on the same compounded tire. So it should be a really good race. Oh, Tool should get a little bit sideways coming out of the corner there. Got it together. So now back on the run coming up towards the Porsche curves here. But that's going to allow RWB Spider in second place to gain some very valuable time on the race leader there. So a little bit of a mistake by Toolshed there, but managed to keep the car together, get back on the and just get back on the gas and keep going. But Spider can now definitely see that gap has closed up a little bit, and we've seen what Spider can do when he starts to smell the exhaust of the car in front of him, man. He just finds a whole nother gear, and he starts chasing those drivers down. So it'd be interesting to see if he can chase Toolshed down here. We have Viper in third place trying to stay on the battle for these two, and we have pay change for P4 here. I'm not sure what happened there, but now we have Ghost 45 up in front of Formula One here. So Juan must have made somewhat of a mistake somewhere along the way, allowing Ghost to make up that little bit of a gap and get ahead here. You see Ghost getting into the dirt there, doing a good job keeping it together. And now we have a little battle for P4 here. So let's jump on with Formula One here, as he's now trying to catch back up on Ghost 45 to get P4 here. So again, standing implications, ladies and gentlemen, with Ghost 45 currently sitting in P4. That's only going to give Toolshed a 6-point advantage. Oh, Ghost goes a little bit squirrely, but manages to get back on track. Juan sitting patiently there, opting just to lay off and let Ghost come back on track in front there. So good job by Formula One. We see Ghost actually flashing his lights at Juan there, say thank you. So really great racing awareness by Formula One. So let's see what happens as the drivers get out of this sector here and come onto the first Mulsanne straight. Let's see if Formula One's going to make a move at the end of the straight, or if these guys are going to work together a little bit, because they are a little bit behind that front pack. We haven't seen any of the drivers work together quite yet here early on in the race today. So we were talking about that a little earlier on in the race. That drafting, it really is going to be key here at Le Mans to catch other packs and catch other drivers. So you can see Formula One is just playing very patiently here. He's now going to grab that slipstream. So let's see if he makes this move on Ghost coming up the straight here. He's in the slip. He can make the move. Thinks about it. He doesn't. He opts to stay behind. So maybe Juan is going to... We see Viper just up ahead of these two drivers here as well. So we do see Juan taking a look on the inside here. Nope, he's going to tuck back in. We are coming into a breaking point, of course, so obviously not wanting to make a move coming through this first set of chicanes at the end of the Mulsanne straight, first Mulsanne straight, of course. So now coming onto the second Mulsanne straight, is Formula One going to make a move here, is the question. So let's jump back on that chase cam and see what they see up ahead of them. So it doesn't look like they can see Viper here. And Formula One actually opts to give Ghost 45 a bump here. So it does look like Formula One seems fairly, fairly comfortable to just work together with Ghost 45 currently here to try and catch that front pack. So we'll keep our eye on that as the race progresses here. We have Bunk here just behind these two drivers in 6th place. So if the two drivers do decide to work together, it's going to allow them to try. Oh, Picteca making a little bit of mistake going wide coming out of the chicane there. And we see Dubs getting back by Picteca. So now Dubs is up into P7. Picteca back down to P8. And Calypso now going to gain some time back on Picteca here as well, making that mistake coming up to the Mulsanne straight, first one as well. And Walk's just coming up to the first sector here. So we're just starting to make up some time on Devin there. Pardon me, Chad. Whew. So we have Toolshed still in the race lead, ladies and gentlemen, and looking very quick here today. Looking like Spider Team still holding fastest lap. Yes, he is still holding fastest lap on track. We'll watch as we go through the field here. And he does look like he's starting to slowly gain on Toolshed here. So we'll be keeping our eye on that as well. We have Viper here just coming through the sector, coming up to the final chicanes here before the start finish line. The Porsche curves, I believe it is. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. Got a frog in my throat. So we still have Ghost 45 and Juan fairly close together here. So Juan hasn't opted to make a move on Ghost yet. So potentially these two drivers are still working together. So let's just see what happens coming to the end of this high-speed sector here. Let's see if Juan gets back in that slipstream on Ghost here. And it does seem like Juan is getting back in that slipstream. You see it does look like he's starting to get really close in really quick. So I wonder if driver Ghost 45 isn't maybe laying off the accelerator just a little bit to try and allow Formula One to stay in that slipstream so these drivers can continue to try and push that front pack. But a little bit of separation between the two drivers now is Ghost having a good clean sector there by the looks of it, and just losing Formula One a little bit. So let's see what happens here as we come back through the field and see if these guys tighten up at all a little bit. We got Bunk here just coming into the Porsche curves, and these things are fun. You know, it looks like you need to be braking for these corners, but in reality, you're not actually using braking at any point in time on this whole section. There is a little bit of downshifting and, of course, throttle release, but there is that being Kermit. LOL. But with that being said, there's a little bit of throttle lifting and just some turning in, of course. A little bit of throttle control, but these guys aren't hitting the brakes right up until here when they're coming into these chicanes. And even then, the braking really isn't that extensive. So, really high-speed track, this racetrack here at Le Mans. And we see Dubs here now coming around. Picteca not too far behind there either. And then Devin's just coming into that sector we just seen them coming out of. So, and then Walk just trailing behind. He's starting to make up some time here. So he's starting to look comfortable behind the wheel. He's starting to look comfortable with the racetrack and the car, perhaps, and starting to put in some good solid laps here. So Toolshed still currently in the race lead. We're at lap 9. So pit window is starting to approach. And I did say that I would drop this banner with about 5 minutes remaining. So you guys got about 1 more minute to wait. And we'll get rid of that banner and let you guys take a look at the fuel and the tire situations here going into the pit window. Great camera shot there as we got Toolshed coming up the Mulsanne straight, and then great shot there for Spider as well. We'll get that shot from Viper here. We got Ghost 45 carrying a half-second penalty here. So it looks like he just acquired that penalty coming out of the chicane. Oh, we missed Formula One. Formula One was closer than I expected. We got Bunk Nasty coming through with a 0.7-second penalty here as well. So we see some of the drivers struggling with the chicanes a little bit here. Le Mans, again, they just love to hand out penalties here. So we got Picteca moving up the road here. Oh, a little reverse shot up the Mulsanne straight here. Dig it. Changing it up, cameraman. All right. Picteca, I think, might have greased the wheels a little bit just to get a better camera shot there. I don't know. Devin there as well, and Dubs. So Dubs must have made a mistake. Devin now in 8th place, and we got Motorsport here as well, cruising up the road just behind these guys. So Let's drop that banner, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get rid of it. It's gone. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at them tire and fuel situations. So all drivers are on the medium tire. As I did say a little bit earlier, they all did start on the same compound of tire today. So we see tool shed on the medium tire, and I mean, they're barely worn. Barely worn. There's barely any wear in those tires. So tires are clearly not a factor here today, ladies and gentlemen. But that fuel tank, on the other hand, a little under a quarter tank of gas, and they still have 4 minutes to pit window, so they're going to have to go around one more time before the pit window's even available to take their fuel stops, and then they might opt to go one more time around yet. So these cars are approximately, you can stretch them to about 11 to 12 laps if you shift them properly. As you can see, a lot of the drivers here are short shifting these cars quite a bit. We see Spider with about the same amount of fuel as Toolshed, but does have some damage on the front end of that car. So explaining why he's just falling off Toolshed slightly here, but his tires don't even look like they've been running around the racetrack yet. They just look absolutely phenomenal. And Spider's been one of the drivers this season who's just done a phenomenal job on saving those tires on the race car. And then we have Average Viper here in third place. His tires just a little tiny bit of wear in him, but his fuel's looking pretty good as well. No different than the two drivers in front of him. And going a little bit of wide there, coming around the Porsche curves there, so he's probably going to pick a penalty up for that. Looks like he got away with that one, so the stewards must have been looking the other way there, counting the cash that Picteca gave him for that great camera shot. Must have missed that little bit of a wide corner from Viper, so Viper getting a little bit of leeway from the stewards there. And we got Ghost 45 coming through the chicane here. Oh, and Formula 1 is all up in his business as well, as we can see there. But Ghost has over a quarter tank of fuel here compared to the drivers in front. And his tires look the same thing as Tool Sheds, and Spiders just look absolutely amazing. Again, another driver in the series has done really well at saving their tires. And Formula 1 is just right there, right behind Ghost 45. And his tires look spectacular as well. Another driver has been doing a good job all season long. I'm really taking care of his tires here on track. But Formula 1, you can see, is definitely suffering from a little more fuel usage here. So maybe that's why we see Formula 1 content to stay behind Ghost 45 currently to save a little bit of extra fuel here as we're coming closer to the pit window. But it looks like these two drivers are doing a great job at working together, or driving very close together here, as we see him still 3 laps into it, still nose to tail. We have Bunk here in P6. His tires just got a little bit of wear on him, but he does have some front end damage on the car, so that's definitely going to affect tire wear and fuel consumption. You can see there his fuel is very, very low. So he is going to be praying for that pit window to be coming sooner than later. And then we've got Picteca here. He's also on that medium tire, and his tires look amazing. So first race for Picteca on manual transmission, ladies and gentlemen. So first off, round of applause, my guy. Round of applause. You picked a very tough racetrack to do it on. So kudos, and your tires look amazing, bro. Your fuel looks good. So glad to see it, and boy, look out for Picteca next season, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy is going to get racy. We got Devin here just behind as well in the medium tire. Look, his tires look spectacular, and just a little under quarter tank of fuel as well. And we see Dubs coming in with some engine damage here, so he's having a little bit of a rough go here. So real slow, painful entry into pit lane here. Pit window is not open yet, ladies and gentlemen, so he is not allowed to take tires or fuel in that car yet. So we are definitely going to stick with this pit and make sure Dub's car looks the best. Oh, some huge love for the delivery on PA Dub's car here. We'll get a good shot of it here, actually, coming in pit lane if it ever shows up. Of course, it is suffering from engine damage, so the pit crew does have its work cut out for him here. So we're just going to make sure that he's not taking tires. Ooh, he's in the pit window. Ooh, he is just in that pit window. So timing is key, ladies and gentlemen, and boy, oh boy, did he get lucky there. Let me tell you, by the thinness of a whisker, he manages to just hold off long enough to get those tires in the pit window. Like, we're talking like milliseconds, chat. So really, really great job by Dubs there to pick his timing on that pit change. That is 100% legal, ladies and gentlemen. It was just inside that pit window. But great job by Dubs there to really play the timing right there. So there is no infraction for that, ladies and gentlemen. And really great timing by Dubs to, I guess, cause damage to his car there as well coming in. So Dubs being the first guy to pit. And we got a great shot of that livery there as well. So Toolshed's going to be, of course, our first driver to come around here. So let's see if Toolshed opts to jump into pit lane right away here or not. We can see his fuel is now starting to flash. So he may opt to Team Angel Wing, says Dubs. Beautiful. We love it. We do see our leader coming into pit lane. So yes, we do see Spider coming into pit lane. Not surprised he does have damage in his fuel light is on as well. Is Viper going to follow these guys? No, Viper is going to opt to stay out for another lap here, but he does have a penalty, so he's going to have to bleed that penalty off here before he comes across that start-finish line, and he does get that done, so great job by Viper there, and he continues on. So who's the next driver? We have Ghost 45 coming around. Ghost also opting to go around one more time and bleeding a penalty off here. Struggling with that penalty bleed a little bit there, but he gets it done. So let's jump out with Toolshed as he is in pit lane here. Get a great shot on that beautiful livery there. And just throwing some fuel in the cars. Let's jump up to Spider here as well as he's in pit lane coming in behind Toolshed. We want to make sure all these guys get their livery love here. We see Juan now coming into pit lane as well. That was behind Ghost there, so great shot of that Apex Racing livery there. And Bunk Nasty also coming into pit lane here, so we're going to jump on with his pit crew as they make his pit stop as well. And you can see he's coming into pit lane with 0% fuel, ladies and gentlemen. So Formula One did come in with 9% fuel, caused damage turn 5. Well, man, your tire change, your timing on that one could not have been any better, brother. Let me tell you, that was absolutely fantastic timing, my guy. And I believe that actually may be potentially the livery that Picteca supplies for the drivers if they don't have a livery design in time for the series, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, now that I think about it. So great job there. Nice looking livery. And we do have Picteca, speaking of, coming into pit lane. So we do see his fuel light is flashing here as well. So Average Viper and Ghost 45 are the only two drivers so far opting to go out and take an extra lap here at Le Mans today. And it looks like the rest of the drivers are opting to come in and take their pits as they're coming around the track here. So a really beautiful looking job by Team Hyper here on these liveries today as well, as that Renault's looking just gorgeous. And we'll just stick with Picteca here since we don't have anybody else in pit lane at the moment. And then once we do that, we will go check out the field, see where everybody turned up. And we'll have a little fun. We'll have a little fun. Alright, so Dubs is pit. Walks has not pitched yet. He will be, I'm assuming, pitting at the end of this lap as he is very low on fuel. We've got Average Viper, who's currently in the race lead. Of course, opting to stay out an extra lap here. He will doesn't have to pit this lap. He can stay out another lap. There is enough time, but it will be cutting it very close. But his fuel probably won't allow it anyway, so I would imagine Viper's coming in. Ghost 45, same situation. He has the fuel to go another lap if he chooses. Whether or not the time is going to allow it is going to be hard to say. And then Toolshed here behind those two drivers. So Spider right there, Formula One, currently sitting P3 right, will be P3 once those drivers stop potentially. Devin Calypso also has not pitched yet either. So we have 4 drivers on track here. Walk has actually opted to run another lap. No, he's going to go. I thought he had passed pit lane there already. I was like, ooh, he's going to play the game with the numbers. So we do have Walk coming in to make his stop. And then we are just going to make sure that all the drivers took the right tire compound. And then we're going to turn that drastic banner back on, ladies and gentlemen. The banner. It takes so long for these guys to get to their pit boxes here at Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there's a little bit of a delay because, again, this is just esports racing, so there's a little bit of a delay from when you see them enter the pits to when they actually get to their pit box. And again, the livery's looking just fantastic. A little bit of damage on that front splitter there, but nothing too major. As you can see that, it's a little scrape, a little paint. So we do see our race leader now. We see Viper's team jumping out on track there, getting ready for Viper coming in. We see Viper is coming in with 2% fuel here. And now we see Ghost also coming in for his crew, jumping out there as well, coming in for his pit stop. So we'll stick with Viper here as he pulls into his pit box, because he did come into pit lane first, so we'll get a beautiful look at that livery of his there. And again, a golf style livery with a high pre graphic, with the high pre in it. So great classic retro livery there on the Renault here today by Average Viper. Just great looking livery there. Great shot, nice, clean, simple. Jump up and Ghost here with his crew putting on his tires here. And that Rockefeller Racing livery looking real sharp here today, ladies and gentlemen, on track. GT45 Gaming, ladies and gentlemen, sitting there on the roof as well. Again, that is GT45 Gaming in that car, ladies and gentlemen. So I believe we just have Devin left and Walk to come in for their pits. We just seen Walk, so I believe it's just Devin left. So Devin coming in for his pit stop. That will be the final driver here to have to make their pit stops here in the mandatory pit window. All drivers have made the pit window requirements as far as stopping and getting out of pit lane within the window. So we'll just check to make sure that they all have the right tires. You see Devin coming in with 2% fuel. So it looked like Ghost 45 came in with the most amount of fuel after that first stint. So be interesting to see what he opted to do with fuel there in pit lane as well. We have seen Ghost 45 short fuel in other races to try and gain track positions. So we will take a look once we go back through our field. After, of course, we get that beautiful livery shot here in pit lane of Devin Klitzel. And Belgian flag or German flag? You can correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. No, I always get it mixed up. See Metropolis on top of that car, 12-ounce Sports, Pride of the Dragon. Again, massive shout out to our sponsors here, GT Champions, of course the main sponsor being Detailing Group. You can find them at www.detailinggroup.com. And then, of course, the other sponsors of the series is Metropolis, and again, you can find them at www.metropolis.com. High Pre, which you see on the top right part of the screen there, is how you can get a hold of High Pre graphics. And then, of course, Pride of the Dragon, www.prideofthedragon.com, and that is a event that Tatiana hosts and puts on every year. And of course, glad to see one of our fellow broadcasters throwing a little sponsorship into the series here as well. Really fun event. Go check it out, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more. If you're a car enthusiast, you may want to see what this event is all about. So let's get through our field here. So Toolshed does retain the race lead. Currently here on lap 12, after all the pit stops have come out and everything settled down, he does take a full tank of fuel, it looks like. He is on the soft tire. We have RWB Spider come out on the soft tire, and it looked like he filled his tank up as well. Again, remember, keeping in mind, some of these drivers do have a lap on track now. Average Viper coming out, took a full tank of fuel and on that soft tire. We got Formula One jumping Ghost 45 while he was in pit lane there. So now Formula One in P4 here. And he is on that soft tire, and it looked like he filled his tank as well. We've got Ghost 45, who does this look like he actually filled the tank up for this half stint and on the soft tires. So fuel obviously is a concern from all the drivers. They all filled their tanks up. It looks like we have Bunk Nasty, who pit very early in the window and sitting on a purple lap here currently, actually, right now, with 7/10 of a second, actually. So looking really good here today is Bunk Nasty. And again, on the soft tire, he did look like he filled his tank as well. We have Devin, who took a full tank of fuel on that soft tire. Pictec is also on that soft tire with what looked like to be a full tank of fuel. And Dubs as well on the soft tire with a full tank. And same from Motorsports. So all the drivers have fully met all those requirements as far as pit window goes and tire requirements. So love to see it. Race on, ladies and gentlemen. We have 10 laps remaining in this race, 10 to 11 laps, judging by the first half. So with that being said, we do have our current leader, Toolshed, and let's just do something a little fun here. Let's bring you a juicy little shout out from Metropolis.com, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Big, juicy, beautiful little shout out from Metropolis.com there. Juicy little, fun little video for you guys there. Again, one of the sponsors here at the series. And a GT Champions World Cup Season 3, ladies and gentlemen, is presented by RWB Racing. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a member of RWB Racing in the GTC-4 division. And with that being said, he is also the champion of GTC-4, which was crowned last week because of the points total. He was actually mathematically could not be caught. So we're here with RWB Spider. He is a GTC-4 champion, ladies and gentlemen. So massive congratulations to RWB Spider, who just made it 100% official that he is an official member of RWB Racing. Just very recently before the race started here as well. So big congratulations, RWB Spider. It's been a lot of fun to watch him race all season long. It's been a lot of fun to commentate him race all season long. And you know, just a really big season for Spider here. You know, joining the race team officially. You know, putting that name up there and winning the championship series here in GTC4. So you know, just better things to come in the future for him, I'm sure. So a really great job by RWB Spider here this season at GT Champions, and can't wait to see what he's going to bring for Season 4. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see what he's got for Season 4 without a question of a doubt. And we got Average Viper here, currently sitting in second. So let's do that. Let's go through the implications of where the drivers are compared to the standings, okay? So we have Toolshed, who's currently sitting in first place. He's looking to take 18 points right now for the race win. And he does not have fastest lap on track. So RWB Spider sitting in second, so he is sitting at 16 points for the race here today, and he's not sitting with that fastest lap either. We have Average Viper here, who's currently sitting second overall in the standings, now sitting third in the race. So he has a comfortable lead over Toolshed. He's going to have to basically disconnect in this race for Toolshed to be able to catch him. His concern is Ghost 45, and he's ahead of Ghost 45 by 2 positions. So at the moment, Average Viper's looking pretty good to lock down P2 overall on the season here at GT Champions GTC4 as well. Currently the way the race sits as we speak. And then we have Formula One, who's sitting in 5th place overall, trying to chase Toolshed. So with Toolshed being in the lead of the race, Formula One doesn't have a chance to catch Toolshed, but again, he could potentially maybe catch Ghost, but Ghost is just behind him in positioning. Now, Ghost is sitting 3rd overall in the standings, 8 points ahead of Toolshed, currently on track, sitting 7 points behind if the race finishes right now the way it sits. Who had the fastest lap? Formula One actually has fastest lap on track currently with a 4:04.101. So that's where the fastest lap on track is, and we actually see Ghost with a, I'm not sure what happened there. The red lap. The out lap. That's his out lap. Okay, got it. So and then we've got Bunk here. Again, no implications in the standings for Bunk. This is all just practice and experience for Season 4 for him. Devin Calypso here is just chasing Formula One, but he's not having the best race here today, so he's probably not going to jump Formula One here. Picteca is currently sitting in 8th. Now, he's sitting 10th overall, and I believe he's trying to shake Dubs off, and I believe he's trying to gain ground on Devin Calypso and Motorsports in the standings. So, potentially, he could be moving up a spot, or maybe 2, in the standings in that top 10 if he finishes here in 8th or better here today as well. So we have Dubs in 9th. Now Dubs could potentially leapfrog Walk Motorsports for one of those positions as well, but he needs to beat Picteca, I believe, in order to jump over Picteca in the standings as well. So there is nothing decided yet in GTC4 except for who wins that shiny trophy, which is RWB Spider. Other than that, nothing is really set in stone here yet in this division. So every position matters to every one of these drivers, and we just see Toolshed getting around Walk Motorsports there. So Walk Motorsports being first driver lapped on track here, so must be struggling a little bit. I'm kind of surprised to see that we actually have any lap traffic at all here in the race today, again, as these are 4-minute laps here on track. So just having a bit of a rough race there today, but it happens to the best of us, and he's still on track. He's still putting in his paces, so massive respect for Walk, putting in his laps, putting in his time, and getting that experience anyways. Even though he might not feel like he might be having the best race, he's still there and he's still doing it. So much love, brother, much love. We'd love to see that. We got Viper here in 3rd place. Let's take a look at some times. So Toolshed, our race leaders, running 404s and 405s right now. Of course, he only has 2 under the belt and then soft tires, so the soft tires are just starting to work in now. Spiders at some 404s, same thing, very similar pace. We got Viper here, who's Same pace, 404, 406 that last lap. Formula One with the fastest lap currently on track, but he had a really bad lap there currently with a 417. So actually we see Ghost 45 coming back into the picture here, and he's not having his first hot lap is a 406. So the drivers are all pretty close to the pace so far, but I mean it's really early in the stint yet. And then we got Bunk here. He's a little bit off the pace of the drivers up front. Devin Calypso there with a 410. Picteca is not having the best laps, but again, first time on manual transmission, and he's really kept that car out of trouble, and he's looked really strong here today. So having a great race for Picteca here today as well. Dubs here as well, looking good. 413s at the moment. And Walk, not having the best. Oh, he's about the same as Dubs at the moment. So some of the drivers are a little bit off pace, but again, as you might see, some of these drivers are fuel saving. Fuel is a massive issue in this race, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen it in the first stint. Some of these drivers did have to pit before the halfway point of the race, essentially. So fuel could very, very well factor into how this race ends here today. Some of these drivers could potentially run out of fuel before this race ends today, which could completely change the perplexity of how everything shakes up today as well. So Toolshed is very comfortable in the lead at the moment there, as we see he's still quite a bit ahead of Spider here, who has not gotten around Walk Motorsport yet. So there is a decent gap there. And then we've got Viper here, who's trying to catch up to those guys in P1 and P2. He's sitting in P3. And then we have Formula One sitting in P4. And then just behind Formula One there is Ghost 45 sitting in P5 here. So that is potentially maybe our best looking developing battle at the moment here on the racetrack, I think, ladies and gentlemen. We got Walk coming into the Porsche curves here. So Toolshed coming around here, coming on to lap 15, ladies and gentlemen. We still have 31 minutes remaining in this race here today. Formula One, yeah, would have ran out of fuel by lap 5 on auto. Yeah, no doubts. No doubts. That is facts. That is facts, Picteca. That is facts, brother. OG Toolshed looking really strong here in P1. So let's just go see what's going on through the field. So now we see Spider starting to catch Walk there. So not too far behind Toolshed, but definitely a gap there. Viper, sorry, in third place coming across that start-finish line. We've got Formula One coming around here right now into the chicanes. Looking juicy, great looking set of chicanes there. And then we got Ghost 45 just coming through in behind him here. So let's jump on Formula One and see what Formula One sees here. So he sees a little more than headlights at this point, I guess, from driver Ghost 45 behind him here. He can probably see a little bit of the outlining in the rearview mirror of Ghost 45's car behind him, but Ghost 45 is not close enough to really do anything at the moment. Now again, fuel is probably a factor in the race, ladies and gentlemen, so none of these drivers are probably really willing to push too much right at the moment. It's very early on in the stint. They got to kind of gauge how the fuel is going to be sitting. The soft tire will use a little more fuel than the medium tire did as well. So the drivers that pay attention to these things will definitely know that the soft tire stint is going to be a little more of a fuel stint than it is stint to try and make up time. So if Ghost 45 catches Formula One, I guess it's going to be interesting to see if they also work together to try and catch the podium drivers up ahead of them. If you look at the radar on the right-hand side of the screen, just above the live timing there, ladies and gentlemen, you see the map radar, and the red arrow is Formula One currently, who we're sitting on, and the little blue arrows up ahead of Formula One are the race leaders. So that's about what the gap is between Formula One, Ghost, and Spider, Toolshed, and Viper in P1, P2, and P3 there. So ooh, and Ghost 45 picking up a nice fat half-second penalty there, so that's going to slow that charge down to catching up on Formula One here. So that's really unfortunate for Ghost 45 there, as he was just starting to make up that time. So he's going to have to get rid of that penalty before the end of this lap, of course. But lots of lap left, lots of good places to lose that penalty off. So let's jump on board with Ghost 45 for this straightaway in the next sector here, see if he can gain any time on Juan there. see him shaving a little bit of that penalty off. Ooh, he didn't quite get the whole penalty there. Ooh, that's going to suck. So opting to lose that penalty in that breaking point right there. Didn't quite shake the whole penalty off. You can see he's still, driver Ghost 45 still has 0.05 of a second of a penalty left there. So not doing the greatest job at bleeding that penalty off there through that corner. So he's going to have to lose the other half a tenth there somewhere else. So he's going to lose a little more time to driver Formula 1 up ahead of him. So that's really unfortunate for Ghost 45 there, as he's trying to gain that position on Formula 1 just to try and secure down third place overall in the standings here. So we got Devin, Bunk. We keep skipping poor Bunk here. He's having such a great race too, my guy. I love you, man. I'm sorry, man. My bad. Just keep skipping on all the love here. So as we see him coming up the straight here, he's got a penalty here as well. You can see he's been struggling a little bit every time we jump on the Bunk here. He seems to be carrying a penalty of some sort. So having a little bit of an issue with the track limits here at Le Mans. And then we got Devin Calypso here. He's in 7th place now, looking very solid here as well. Devin's been very consistent in that 6th to 8th place finishing range all season long. Picteca is looking very good here in 8th place as well. Trying to not allow Dubs to catch up to him at this point to secure that top 10 in the points. And then we have Walk Motorsports rounding out the field here in 10th place. We just seen Spider has just recently gotten around him there. So now Spider's good to be on the march to try and catch our race leader, Toolshed, here. Where are we at on the track? We just started this lap. Hey, we'll jump on. I think we'll do some onboards with some of the drivers here as the race progresses a little bit here. We just want to get back to this potential P4, P5 situation we've seen here. As you see, Ghost eating a lot of curb there coming through the final chicane, so that's going to slow Ghost 45 down a little bit. As you can see, Juan's already quite a ways up the road from him there. So not really anything developing here at Le Mans. At the moment here on track, the drivers are fairly spaced out, so definitely seeing a difference in pace from our drivers here today. So let's jump on board with our current race leader, Toolshed here. She's coming up to the end of the first Mulsanne straight here. Nice silky smooth chicane right there. A little bit shaky on the exit as the car got a little bit loose on him there, but able to get on the power relatively quickly, so getting a pretty good exit there. Much love to all the fans, all the viewers up in chat tonight. It's just bouncing tonight. Love to see it. Love to see you guys cheering on your favorite drivers. Love to see everybody coming in and supporting the GT Champions World Cup season 3 series here this season, as this is our final race of the season. So this is for all the marbles here now, ladies and gentlemen. There's no turning back. Every point matters, every position matters, and every driver's got to put it all on the line here today. So we are with the current race leader, Toolshed, who's now currently holding fastest lap on track with a 4:03. What is that? 8:94. And I believe that says 6:94. So Toolshed now picking up currently, as it sits right now, fastest lap point on the racetrack here today as well. So picking up 18 points for the race win if the race were to end right now, and currently sitting on fastest lap point. So looking to finish this race right now with 19-point finish, and that plays big implications coming into this battle right here, because Ghost 45 needs somebody else to take that fastest lap from Toolshed in order to lock down P3 overall. Right now, the way it stands, it's going to put Ghost 45 and Toolshed in a tie for 3rd overall in the division. So the way the race sits right now, if it were to finish this lap right now, right here and then, that's it. There's no more race. These two drivers will be tied for 3rd place overall in the division, and it will have to go down to a tiebreaker based off of overall season performance. And then we have 2nd place driver RWB Spider, who's our champion. I'm going to keep saying it because he deserves it. He had such a spectacular season, locking down the title last round. So great job to RWB Spider, and currently having another fantastic race, showing why he is the GTC-4 champion here today in P2, looking really solid as well. So Viper here having a great race as well, sitting in P2. He's having a very strong race here today. Does not want to lose that 2nd place overall, and he is showing it today, as he is absolutely doing everything he can to make sure that the driver chasing him cannot find his way to his rear bumper. And then we've got Formula 1 right now, who's looking pretty good, sitting 4th. He's just always chasing those podium positions this season. He's gotten a couple, but just not quite able to really lock him down this season. He's on the chase again, so he does have driver Ghost 45, who's trying to defend right now, 3rd place overall. Really needing to get caught up to that 4th place driver, Formula One, up ahead of him there. So, be interesting to see how things develop here, as we still have about 5 or 6 laps left in the race yet today, ladies and gentlemen. So we're still got a good solid 23.5 minutes of racing to do here today yet. We got Toolshed just coming around corner 1 here, so let's jump on board with our current race leader. We'll do a fun little sector with him here. We'll stick with him until the end of the first Mulsanne straight here, and then we'll jump down to our 2nd place driver, RWB Spider. We're going to give every single driver on track today their own little onboard love here. So we're going to jump on board with Spider here, let's say about halfway through Toolshed's 2nd sector here, and we'll jump to RWB's and let Spider take us through the 2nd set of chicanes here, 1st set of chicanes here as well. So Mulsanne straight 2 is where we now have our race leader entering, as we have Spider just coming up to that set of chicanes here. So we'll stick with RWB Spider coming up Mulsanne straight number 2, and we'll sit on board with Spider as he goes through the 2nd set of chicanes at the end of the 2nd Mulsanne straight here. GT7 is a glorified sport with less benefits. Oh, everybody just needs to be patient, ladies and gentlemen. GT7 will sort out some of the things that the players are unhappy with. Just give them time, ladies and gentlemen. Give them time. It's a beautiful thing about downloadable content nowadays and updates and all these things that we can do with our esports gaming nowadays is they can add things and fix things and correct things just with a simple update. So everybody just needs to just stay calm. It's all good. GT7 is going to be a game changer. Everybody just needs to just give them time. Just give them time. It was a big launch. It's a big game. It's a big change in the game. You know, a lot of things changed in the game. So everybody just needs to consider this is going to take a little bit of time for them to work everything out. When GT Sport got released, I'm sure it was no different. So there'll be more great GT champions racing on GT7. There'll be more great league racing on GT7. There'll be more great commentary on GT7, and everybody's going to be just thrilled when it all starts going down. I promise everyone. I assure you. I understand everybody going back to GT Sport for lobby racing right now, for open lobbies and hanging out with your friends and that. I totally get it. But GT7 will fix it, ladies and gentlemen. They will absolutely get it all homed in. So now we're on board with our current 2nd place driver in the standings, Average Viper here, as he comes through that fun little sector, and he's actually coming up to what looks to be Walk Motorsports here. So let's just stick with Viper here. Walk giving him a nice and good wide berth there. Great job by Walk, just to allow Viper to get through there real quick. So we do have a position change for P4 here, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere, Ghost 45 has gotten around Formula One. So Formula One is a little bit behind Ghost 45, so it looks to me like Formula One had an incident on track, and that's allowed Ghost 45 to get around Formula One, so that changes things now. So now Toolshed only has a 6-point advantage over Ghost 45, plus that fastest lap bonus. So right now Toolshed is down on Ghost by a couple of points for 3rd overall, so Ghost starting to do what he needs to do to try and lock down at least 3rd overall in the divisions. You see him starting to make his charge here. He's having that last lap was pretty good at 4:05 there, so it looks like he's starting to find some pace here as well. As we can see, Formula One there was a 4:15 that last lap, so definitely making a mistake somewhere along that lap there, losing a little bit of time there. We see Bunks on a great lap there too, the 4:06. Devin on a great lap there. Picteca looking like he had a little bit of a rough lap there with a 4:16. Dubs with a 4:10. Walks in those 410 range there, but Toolshed is flying. He is in that 405, 404 range very consistently here. Spider as well, dipping into them times. Actually, Spider with a couple of low 403s there as well. Not quite enough to grab that fastest lap from Toolshed though. And Average Viper here as well, he's struggling a little bit here. He's up into that 407, so I start to wonder if Average Viper is maybe having to do a little bit of fuel conservation here as he's moving around the track, as his times are just a little bit off pace. Maybe just saving just a little bit of fuel as he's going around the racetrack here. And Ghost is now in those 405 laps as well, so we see Ghost is starting to pick up pace here as well. So Ghost is actually starting to push. And he is a purple sector here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, as he comes around the first corner, they're taking a really wide berth there through there. He might get penalized for that. Let's take a look. Ooh, looks like the Stewarts were very kind to Ghost 45 there, ladies and gentlemen, as they did not give him a penalty. It looked like he got a little bit wide there. So getting very fortunate not to get dinged the penalty there, as it looked like he may have exceeded track limits slightly there. Alright, so let's get on board with Ghost here. I got distracted because Ghost made a move on Formula 1 there without us realizing it. So we're doing some onboards with our drivers here. So we'll do our onboard with Ghost 45 here. We'll give him just straight away in the next technical sector. Still on a purple sector here, actually, ladies and gentlemen. On lap 18 as well. So potentially maybe going for that fastest lap point on track here as well. Such a great shot from inside these race cars, ladies and gentlemen. Just a really good look at what these race cars look like inside. You know, we'll actually remove that. Let's remove that racing information for now. Let's just take that off for a second and just let you guys really see what it looks like inside that car. We'll even get rid of this here for a second for you guys. There we go. So let's move to Formula 1 here. Let's get on board with Formula 1, who's our 5th place driver here now. And we'll run up the end of this straight with Formula 1, and we'll stick with Formula 1 through the next technical sector. I need to start paying those block to enforce those penalties. Yeah, I agree, right? I know, right? Get grease the wheels with the officials and be like, hey, make sure you watch this guy a little harder. So great job by Formula 1 there coming through that sector. So let's jump on board with Bunk here as he comes through the same sector, or as he's just coming through that same sector there. See him going really wide, get a lot of that apex. You want to take as much of that apex as you can in that corner without hitting the battens. The battens will actually slow the car down quite a bit. So really great line by Bunk there. Coming through that hairpin corner there, or hard 90-degree right-hand corner there. But we're going to stick with Bunk to the end of this straight away and give him this next technical sector here. Woo! Just getting into the sand just a little bit there, but doing a really good job to keep it all together here. So now we're on board with Devin Calypso here, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the drivers don't get their get the onboard chances throughout the season sometimes. So yeah, a really good opportunity to give all our drivers some onboard camera love here today. In the final round at Le Mans, GT Champions World Cup Season 3, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is GTC-4 division, ladies and gentlemen. Just nice and smooth, nice and silky smooth. Great job there by Devin. And now we're going to jump on board with our graphics boy, our graphics, the guy behind everything you guys see on all the broadcasts here, our social media posts here, GT Champions, all the amazing stuff you guys see throughout the season. is done by this man right here, Pikteka Hypre. Of course, teammate Average Viper as well, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely got to get that on board. Love with the graphics designer here. So you get a really good opportunity to see what's kind of goes on inside of a GT3 car. And I mean, not much different from real life. Maybe with the exception that the wheel has a lot more of that information we see on the dashboard. You see a lot of that information on the wheels nowadays in the GT3 cars. But you know, the start buttons, the kill switches, you know, all the power switches, all that stuff you see in the little box and the blue lights there, and the little red and green lights on the right hand side of the car there. And then, of course, you got your display in front of the driver behind the steering wheel there, and that tells them a lot of things. Tells them their tire pressure. They can change traction control settings, brake balance settings there. They can change car settings as far as, you know, when coming into pit lane. They can set push a set setting, and it'll put the car into pit lane speed, or they can go into a different mode to push or fuel save. So there's a lot of options. We can't really get a great shot of the steering wheel here, unfortunately. In the driver's hand in this shot, but you know, the steering wheel has a lot of that stuff on it as well, as far as buttons and dials and stuff like that goes, as far as just to allow the driver a little more simple control with the car, and being able to change the settings on the fly, not having to necessarily going for, you know, in the pit lane to say, just for argument's sake, I'm just going to bring out a NASCAR reference here. You know, to get a track bar or wedge adjustment, you know, they can make some adjustments based off of, you know, what they have available to them in front of them with their steering wheel and their dials and their switches. So, you know, it just gives the drivers a little more comfortability to maybe make adjustments on the fly with the car as the race is going on, because these cars do change the longer they're on track in a stint. You know, the tires pressures build up, the tires wear out, the cars get lighter because they're using fuel. With the tires wearing down, of course, that changes your tow, your camber. It changes a lot of the way the car drives on tracks. So it's really, really important that the drivers are able to make, you know, minor changes themselves on track. And of course, you know, they have the pit crews in their ears and their headsets. You know, they all the drivers underneath their helmets and wrapped around their HONS devices or safety devices. They have earbuds that go into their ears that plug into a little connector that's connected to a point on the steering wheel or a control box maybe in beside the driver where we can't see. It depends on how the car is set up. And then what that does is that relays information from a team radio on a certain frequency that the team uses, right? So that the spotters and the pit crew and the crew chief and stuff like that can talk to the driver. You know, maybe say, hey, you know, you need to save a little more fuel, you're using a little too much fuel, or, you know, hey, I think you're doing a really good job on your tires, you know, you can push a little bit further here for the next couple laps. You know, they relay time gap differences to the drivers, stuff like that, right? So, you know, as the years progress, the racing technology has gotten way more advanced. The aerodynamic technology, the cars have gotten extremely fast. The technology, of course, in pit lane, as far as how quick the crews are able to get tires on and off the cars, get fuel in and out of the cars, to make adjustments to the cars, to change the car completely the way it handles around a racetrack. It's just every season it's incredible at how much it changes and how much more efficient and fast and streamlined it gets and quicker it gets, and it makes it really exciting for racing because it allows. We see Walk pulling over, so he had was that Ghost 45, I believe, that just went by him there. So pulling out of the way of fourth place driver Ghost 45 there. So great job by Walk again as we're on board with Walk, pulling out of the way of some lead lap traffic coming in behind him there. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the respect from all the drivers on track with each other here. Just getting out of the way, not wanting to interfere with what's going on, obviously, with the race. He doesn't want to interfere with the point standings or anything like that. Just getting out of the way, letting the guy get by, and just continuing on with this race. A really great job by Walk Motorsports there, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get to our race leader here. Let's get you guys your racing for... well, that works too. But let's get you guys all the goodies on. So we are on lap 20. We have 10 minutes remaining in the race, ladies and gentlemen. Stewards must have had the Verstappen glasses on, says Onk. Maybe. So we are with our current race leader, Toolshed, who's led the majority of the race here today, and looking very strong here, and looking like he's still sitting on fastest lap on track here as we're in lap 20. So looking very solid here to get some very big points here today. as he's just coming into this really tricky sector here. You got a kind of a high-speed mid-braking point into back on the throttle into a hard braking point, back onto a really high-speed straightaway. And then we got an RWB Spider in second place here, trying to chase him down. In second place, Average Viper still holding down P3 here, having a fantastic race today as well. And picking up the pace a little bit with a 4:05 there out of Average Viper here as well. And then we've got Goals 45 currently sitting P4. He dropped a 4:04 last lap. Had a bit of a slow lap. It's 2 laps ago. A little bit of a slow lap last lap with a 4:07. So falling a little bit off the pace on that lap. We got Formula One, who's currently sitting what looks to be on a purple sector here. And he's sitting there with a 4:03.6. Looks like a 6.82, so it looks like he's just behind that fastest lap set by Toolshed by about 3/100ths of a second currently there. So we got Bunk here, who's doing pretty good too. He looks like he had a rough lap there with a 4:26, so he must have had an incident on track. Devin there, he's just a little bit off the pace here from the rest of the drivers up front today. Picteca again, first time on manual transmission, so he's having a fantastic race here, still holding P8. We got Dubs in 9th place here. And driver Walk Motorsport dropping just under 4:09 there a couple laps ago as well. So he's starting to look pretty good here as well. So Toolshed's coming around here on lap 20, coming up to lap 21 here at Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen. So it is looking, based off the amount of time we got left on track, that these drivers are only going to get 2 more laps here, and potentially only 1 more lap for maybe some of the drivers. So Toolshed will be on his penultimate lap as he comes around that final chicane here. So second last lap of the season for OGR Toolshed here today at Circuit de la Sarthe, or Le Mans, ladies and gentlemen, in France. We got RWB Spider coming around here, the final chicane for his penultimate lap of the season here for Season 3 of GT Champions World Cup as he comes across there as well. We've got Average Viper here in 3rd place. He's now coming around those chicanes, and he is about to take that white flag for his penultimate lap of the season as well, ladies and gentlemen. So looking really solid here in P3 here tonight. Got Ghost 45 coming around in those chicanes now as well in P4 here. He's now going to be coming around for his penultimate lap of the season as well, ladies and gentlemen. And trying to catch that P3 driver, Average Viper, just up ahead of him there. And he's dropped a 4:04.3 there as well. So Ghost is absolutely starting to push a little bit. We got Formula One coming through here now as well. He just dropped a 4:03 last lap, so you can tell he's pushing now. And we can see him just coming into the Porsche curves here now, I believe. So we'll stick with Juan here as he comes around for what should be his penultimate lap as well. Ooh, and he is cooking around them corners, Chad. You see that rear end just slipping out a little bit there. Maybe by design, maybe not. Getting really wide there. Great exit out of the corner there as he's coming into this little mini S. And then 2 little tight chicanes at high speed. And across that start finish line for his white flag lap of the season, ladies and gentlemen. So, really fantastic stuff by all our drivers here today on track. And it's been a really great season by all our drivers all season long here as well. So we've got Bunk now in 6th place. He's just coming through the Porsche curves. He's got another half-second penalty. This poor guy has been struggling with the penalties here today. See him bleeding out through the chicane there. And he'll shed that last 10th off through one of the 2 chicanes here. And that should be... you should get 1 more lap after this. Ooh, just picking up a penalty right at that start there. He manages to get that bled off at times. So now we got Devin coming around. Should maybe be his penultimate lap. This might actually be Devin Clips' final lap. It's going to be really close on the timer. And then we got Picteca here. Picteca is on his penultimate lap here, so next time around will be Picteca's final lap around the track, and same as Dubs and same as Walk Motorsport. So these guys are on their penultimate laps of the season, and next time around that start-finish line will be their final lap. So we have Toolshed leading the race, lap 21. White flag lap, ladies and gentlemen, looking very solid here as he's coming around into this little high speed into a mid braking into a high speed into a hard braking into a high speed sector. Whew, that's a lot to say really quick. I don't know my corner names here at LeMans very well. It's not actually a track I race on personally a lot. So lack of corner knowledge here, unfortunately, from your host here tonight. I do apologize for that, as I know this is a super iconic racetrack. We'll get that sorted out for next season for sure, ladies and gentlemen. So moving down the road here, we got RWB Spider looking like he's starting to gain a little bit of time potentially on your tool shed, as he's just coming into the sector. That actually you can see tool shed just up and going into the forescreen there as he was coming around the corner. So Spider maybe pushing a little bit here to try and catch tool shed as well. And then we got Viper here. Looked like he was just bleeding a penalty there coming up the road. And we see Ghost 45. Ooh, things are getting spicy. Ghost 45 can see average Viper. He come around that corner, was able to see that car. So let's get on and see what Ghost can see here real quick. Can't quite see average Viper getting around that corner, but he definitely got a glimpse of him as he came around the corner there. So does Ghost have enough time to close up the gap on average Viper and steal a podium from average Viper here today? Very interesting to see. Ooh, he's on a purple sector too, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stick with Ghost here. He's in the Porsche curve, so we're almost at the end of this lap. Let's see if he can hold down this fastest lap. On lap 21 of the race, ladies and gentlemen, Ghost 45 is going for fastest lap here. Let's see if he gets it when he comes across this finish line here. His lines are looking really clean through the Porsche curves here. He's coming into these final two chicanes. This is crucial he gets through here clean. Ooh, great apexing. Gets out with a lot of speed there. Decides to short this first apex. Good exit. On the throttle early. Is he going to get it? Yes, Ghost 45 stealing fastest lap on lap 21 with a 4:03.327. So one lap for any one of these drivers to try and get that fastest lap point away from Ghost 45 now. So great job by Ghost to pinch out a fastest lap really late in the race here. But again, tire wear clearly not a factor, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that in the first stint. Formula One here with a 4:03.7 that lap as well. He's flying as well. Bunk here with again with a half sec. Poor guy. Every time we go to the poor guy, he's got a penalty. We got Devin Calypso here in 7th. We got Picteca still holding down 8th place for BA Dubs, but Dubs is just in the background here. And Motorsport here in 10th, so we might have some potential battles here. So let's get rid of the banner. Let you guys see what we see. Last time we're dropping that bad boy for the season, ladies and gentlemen. So that's pretty exciting. Indianapolis, that name on the turn. Ah, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we got Toolshed flying. He is on the final lap. He's on Mulsanne straight 2. He's just coming out of that. Coming into this juicy little chicane section here. Ooh! Almost getting a little bit wide there, but managed just to keep that car within the track limits there. So Toolshed looking really good here. Where's Spider? Spider's just coming into that chicane. So Spider is a little bit behind, but not that far behind. And then we've got Average Viper here in 3rd place, who did very briefly have Ghost in the foreground there. So he is just coming into that chicane. Where is Ghost 45? Ghost 45 is just coming down the Mulsanne straight now. Ooh, you can see Viper just going around the corner. Oh boy, we might have some battles here. Ooh, and Formula One's on a purple sector on the final lap of the race here as well, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, this is a juicy race at the end here. We don't have any good battles, but boy, we sure got guys scrapping for those bonus points right now. As we see Picteca trying to get away from Dubs. Dubs is trying to chase Picteca down for position 8 here before the end of this race. And we got Walk Motorsports coming around here right now on corner 1. So he should be just on his final lap here. So we are with our current race leader, OGR Toolshed, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to stay with our race leader here for the remainder of this lap until he crosses that start-finish line. Toolshed is driven extremely well here today, ladies and gentlemen, here at Le Mans. He's showing extremely good pace. Been in the lead for pretty much the whole race. The majority of the race, he has been leading the race. And has looked very, very good here. He does have a little bit of a rough lap last time. You see that 4:13 there. Maybe a little bit of penalties, or just maybe losing the car sideways a little bit around a corner. But, oh, hey, tires. There you go. There, guys. Let's take a look at the tires. As you see, his tires look fantastic. Those soft tires, not at all a problem here in this 40-minute run here at Le Mans. But you can definitely see he is getting very, very low on fuel. So, very good thing that this is the final lap for Toolshed, as he might not have made another lap around the track here. So he's just coming around the S's here. We're coming into the final 2 chicanes here at Le Mans. And ladies and gentlemen, it is sure looking like that our final round of Season 3, Round 10 at Circuit de la Sarthe. First place finisher is OGR Toolshed. Absolutely great drive by Toolshed. Congratulations, mate. Great race. As we see Picteca finishing in P8. So that is going to mean Dubs will finish P9 and Walk will finish P10. But we do have Spider and Viper closing out. Spider has a penalty. Viper is right on his back door. Is Spider going to be able to get this off in time? Ooh, Spider goes across with the... Ooh, boy, that is going to go to the officials. That is going to have to go to the officials, chat. Ooh, what a close race that was. So, Spider coming across in second. Viper is third. Ghost coming across in 4th place. We have Formula 1 here now coming up the track in P5 here. So Viper almost able to get P2 from Spider. They're at the line. Spider getting across just enough time because that penalty doubled up when he went across that line with that penalty. So Viper still in 3rd place on the unofficial results here, so just far enough behind Spider there not to be able to gain the point position on Spider there. Whoa! Formula 1 getting really wide there. He's probably going to pick a penalty up there as he was, I think, pushing for fastest lap there. He really put it all on the line coming through that corner and just wasn't quite able to keep the track limit there, so he's going to have to get rid of this penalty, which is going to kill that lap for him. Really unfortunate, but going to come through with a very strong P5 finish here today, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon me again. For Apex Racing. And then we have Devin Calypso coming across here. Means he gets a penalty. It means he gets a penalty, my guy. So Devin Calypso's just coming through the Porsche curves here now, so he's going to be rounding out his final race here of the season at GTC-4 as well. So coming out with a 6th place finish here in round 10 as well. Another strong drive by driver Devin Calypso here as well. Just coming through this final chicane here at Le Mans. And he is just red on the fuel here. So great job by Devin Calypso finishing 6th place here today. And right to our final driver, Bunk Nasty here, who appears to be out of fuel. I think Bunk has ran out of fuel, ladies and gentlemen. So, fortunate that the other drivers have already finished their races, as he is out of fuel on track here. So, going to take a minute for driver Bunk to get through the field here. Best host is the ghost. You guys are too kind, for real. So poor Bunk here, running out of fuel on the final lap of the race here today. Just quite not able to manage that fuel, just enough to get him through here. But the car is going to make it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry, the car is going to get there. Just makes for a little bit of a long lap for driver Bunk here. That's all, as he's on reserve fuel fumes here, just trying to get the car across to the finish line. Oh, they're gonna call it. They're just gonna call the race, guys. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is round 10. So that was a really great race by the drivers, ladies and gentlemen. Le Mans is a tricky racetrack, especially with that GT3 Renault RS01 car. It's, again, a mid-rear engine car, so that means that the engine's in the middle of the car, and it's a rear-wheel drive car. So it balances and handles quite a bit differently than say a front rear engine car or a front wheel drive car. Um, in a sense, they're a little bit more loose to drive. They're a little more slippery to drive, so they tend to want to slide a little bit more at high speeds and, of course, under braking. So it's actually quite a tricky car to drive. And as you can see by all the drivers on track, it definitely likes to eat the fuel. So the drivers definitely had a challenge today with having to save fuels. We did see one of our drivers run out of fuel before the end of the race there in bunk. But the rest of the drivers just managing to save enough fuel there to get through that race, as we've seen Winter Toolshed come through the race there just on fumes, as well as Devin Calypso. Spider was getting pretty low on fuel. Viper was low on fuel. Ghost 45 was he was in the red as well. Juan was in the red as well, coming in there as well. So a little bit of work there for the officiating staff to take a look at, but that's what they're there for. So we do have driver interviews, of course, ladies and gentlemen, as we always do. So just bear with me for 1 second. You're just going to lose sound for a second, and then you're going to hear some juicy interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, what a finale. Wow. What a great race at LeMans. We had a little bit of a smaller field today, but man, the guys on track, they did awesome on the track today. So congratulations to our top 3 finishers today, who is Average Viper, Toolshed, and Spider team. So, congratulations, guys, to start off with. Great race, great finale finish.
I'm actually RW Spider now.
We'll get it right when we come back to you, brother. So we're gonna we would go talk to the third place driver Viper, but he's not in the chat here. So congratulations. I apologize about the crackling. I'm not sure what's going on there. Secure second place overall in the standings here today. So just a big shout out to Average Viper for a good solid season, managing to come home in P2.
Well done. Well done, Viper.
And we'll move up to our second place finisher here today, who happens to be now RWB Spider, ladies and gentlemen, who's just officially made it official that he's a part of RWB Racing team. And of course, our champion this season here, finishing P2 in the final race of the season. So congratulations, man. Absolutely fantastic season, my guy. And just talk us through your race today.
Awesome, thank you. It was an awesome race. I just went into this race, going after a personal goal, third or better, and fastest lap. But you took care of that, and Tusha took care of first. So I just hung in there and took a drink of Coke at the wrong place, and it cost me my catch on tool shed, and from there it was over. I realized, and I thought, well, second or best is all I can do. And then I think at the last lap, I think I ran out of fuel. Because I didn't seem to go, because I seen Viper just closing on me fast. I think it was like 8 seconds, where he was like 14 before, and I thought, oh, man.
Yeah, I've seen that he finished just shortly behind you there, so... it was a great race. I mean, obviously, I don't know what was going on up front with you guys, but I was in the mid-pack just kind of trying to not mess up. But, man, congratulations again. You were, obviously, you were the most consistent driver this season. You definitely had some great pace here in GTC-4, and a good points gain again here for you at the final round. So when all the dust settles, hopefully you achieve that personal goal you had set out, and just massive shout out, man. Great season. And
of course, I couldn't find
our GTC-4 champion, ladies and gentlemen, RWB Spider, finishing second place today.
Woo!
And of course,
thanks.
Any shout outs, Spider?
I do. I want to thank RWB and the creators of GTC Champion, the Division 4 guys, and just thanks for an awesome season. It's really been fun.
Absolutely. And again, man, I just can't say enough. Congratulations, man. Well-deserved title for you this season, brother.
Well done.
And ladies and gentlemen, our winner for this evening, OGR Toolshed. I tell you, this man needed a win tonight, and boy did he go and get it. So great race, man. From the back of the pack to the front, looking like by the end of the first lap there, you just absolutely made some distance right away. Got out front and you just kind of just cruised on through the race. So talk us through it, man.
Yeah, no, I had an interesting first lap. I missed the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight because Spider had my turning point. So I battled through with Spider for the first lap, and then took Spider and Devlin, and then caught up to Viper, passed him, and I wanted to get into that clean space so I could run my own lap and brake where I wanted to brake and play with the fuel where I wanted to play with the fuel. So I'm just really, really happy with this race. To win at LeMans, this is huge.
Absolutely huge, man.
Congrats, man.
First one this season, or is it your second?
Second one.
It is your second one
this
I
season.
couldn't quite remember. So congratulations on that, man. And of course, to win the finale after 10 long, grueling weeks on the racetrack in this series. There's been some tough car track combinations this season. Finishing off with a bang, my man. It is going to be awfully close between yourself and the third place drivers. So we'll have to wait and see where all the points settle after that one, boy, because it is close.
I think that fastest lap is going to count huge.
So, anybody you want to shout out, of course? I know you're not...
Again, to all my boys in OGR, to all the drivers in Division 4, just a fantastic bunch of blokes. To Chris, Tatiana, the two brothers who invented this crazy thing, just massive, massive respect. And just, I've had the time of my life on GT Sport, mate.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Absolutely.
Well said. Well done.
Absolutely. And on behalf of World Cup GTC-4 division, ladies and gentlemen, I know I speak on behalf of all the drivers here for the ones that aren't in the chat, and of course myself, GT45 Gaming, my page, my community. Thank you, RWB, for the presentation of this amazing series. A huge shout out to Detailing Group, a massive shout out to Metropolis, part of the Dragon and High Pre, who has just come through with massive, awesome graphics all season long for these great broadcasts here at GT Champions. And of course to Gorski and Venom, who are the creators of the series behind the scenes. And shout out to all our broadcasters, officiating staff, and everybody involved behind the scenes. This doesn't happen without a very big team. And GT Champions is a great team. They have a great series. It's very well organized. And just a thank you from GTC-4 to GT Champions. And can't wait to see what Season 4 has in store for everybody this when that is announced. We have no idea when yet, but when it's announced, I'm sure it's going to be epic. So, and I mean, to you guys, man, great job. For real, it's been a lot of fun. It's been an emotional season, but it's been a ton of fun. Alright, I do apologize about the crackling in the audio. Of course, that was pre-recorded, ladies and gentlemen, as the race was ran on Saturday. And the reason why it's pre-recorded is because I am Ghost 45 on track, ladies and gentlemen. And we pre-recorded all the interviews, so of course we can get that into the broadcast here. I try to do my absolute best job not to talk when I'm commentating in the races to talk about myself as I'm racing as a third person, and of course try to make sure that I'm not hogging all the camera time. So that's the reason why our broadcasts are much later than GTC 1, 2, and 3 divisions here this season, because I was partaking in the division. So, and of course being the broadcaster of the division, I can't do both at the same time, so we have a juicy, beautiful compromise of doing a replay broadcast for all you amazing fans out there. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you guys came out in drones tonight. You guys lit up the chats. You guys had so much fun. You're chatting up with each other in the community. You're cheering on your favorite drivers. Just so much love and appreciation from GT Champions for all your support as a viewers. Coming in and week out to watch and support and cheer on your favorite race car drivers, no matter what division it is that you are watching. And it's just really been an awesome, amazing season. And I'm just this doesn't get any better than that. You have good racing, and great divisions and a great series, and it's just great sponsors, and it just makes for a really good racing season. So if you guys want to know what the official results from GTC-1 through GTC-4 divisions are officially, you'll have to definitely tune into the GT Champions social sites, as of course GT Champions will make all those announcements once everything is officialized, ladies and gentlemen. And they will announce all the champions, they will announce all the finishers. Now, the top 3 finishers of each race, ladies and gentlemen, I did mention this at the beginning of the broadcast, does earn a spot in an invitation to the All-Star race. Now, much like last season we saw from GT Champions, after the World Cup season was over, they put on an All-Star race, and they took the top 3 finishers from each division, and they took the commentators, and they put them all on track together, and they all raced for it all. So there is an All-Star race coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure when. Again, stay tuned for GT Champion socials, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, or the Discord server, or the Facebook group, or wherever it is that you follow GT Champions from, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to those socials, those sites, because the announcements will be made there. If you want to know, that's the place to know. So, with that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in all season long. Not just tonight, all season long. It has been a fun 10-week season, and I'm going to miss you guys. I'm going to miss our Monday nights together. I'm going to miss these great races, commentating these great races together. But I'd just like to thank GT Champions, of course, again, myself, for the opportunity to broadcast for them, to be a part of this, also as a driver. And thank the sponsors, Detailing Group, Metropolis.com, Pride of the Dragon, and of course Picteca High Pre Graphics, ladies and gentlemen. Again, driver in GTC-4 division as well. Pride of the Dragon is our GTC2 broadcaster, Tatiana, so one of the sponsors of the series. So, you know, it's a tight-knit group here. Everybody works hard to get to bring out the best that we can for you guys, and I really hope everybody enjoyed the season all season long. And we'll see you all at the All-Star race. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed to that GT Champions YouTube yet, don't forget to do so on the way out tonight, please, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't miss another amazing race by the GT Champions drivers and team. So, on that note, I hope everybody has a fantastic day, afternoon, or evening. I hope you enjoyed the race. I hope that your favorite driver came out on top. And we'll see you next season, ladies and gentlemen. Have an absolutely fantastic and amazing week.